Yo, what's going on, y'all? Turn it up, turn it up. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy FredoFits. We back again with another video. Today we trying something new. So this is a story about this kid. He was super viral on the internet, like probably like 10, 15 years ago. I heard about Mikey Williams. He was always going crazy, always had a crazy little highlight tape going around. I was wondering, I'm like, damn, this dude don't make to the NBA, make millions. Like, what's going on? You know, why is he not in the league yet? And then like last year, or maybe 2 years ago, a couple years ago, we saw he caught a charge, um, some gun charge or something like that. So we about to watch this video, find out what happened to him, and see, why my boy not in the NBA right now. Let's jump into it, though. Let's get to it.
That is expected to generate millions for the student athlete.
Mikey Williams was destined for NBA stardom, with millions of followers and endorsement deals before he even graduated high school. But one night changed
That's what I'm
everything.
saying. My boy had hella
tough position, so I wasn't gonna get myself out of that. Neither was.
My boy had hella offer. You see the chain he got on? That's a heavy pendant, you know. That boy Ben had bread, but he's supposed to be in the league.
But how did America's most promising high school star fall so far so fast? Let's break it down. The meteoric rise and catastrophic fall. Few stories in modern basketball capture the rise to fame and the crash that follows like Mikey Williams. The foundations of Williams' basketball destiny were laid early, rooted in a family where athletic excellence wasn't just encouraged, it was expected. His father, Malin Williams, had been a standout high school basketball player at Sweetwater High School, while his mother, Charisse, excelled as a catcher and outfielder in collegiate softball at Hampton University. This genetic cocktail of athletic prowess, combined with an unwavering emphasis on discipline and perseverance, created
he come from an athletic family. Okay, that's why he was so nice.
To emerge.
I got in the
boy had good genes.
I probably started playing when I was like 4. My pops was a coach, so I was already around basketball and stuff all the time.
From the tender age of 4, Williams was immersed in the world of basketball. But it wasn't until middle school that the basketball world truly took notice. A viral dunk video in 7th grade catapulted him into the national spotlight, drawing immediate comparisons to young LeBron James and sparking a social media following that would eventually exceed 3 million followers on Instagram alone.
That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, I literally seen his dunk videos probably like 15 years ago now. So, and I just knew that kid was going to the NBA. So it's just crazy to see now that he's not in the league. I think he is hooping in college right now.
All I knew was basketball. Like, business didn't really exist to me yet, you feel me? So it all just happened really fast.
The explosion of Williams' fame wasn't accidental. It was carefully orchestrated by his father, who recognized the potential for his son's talents to transcend traditional basketball pathways. At just 13 years old, Williams signed a groundbreaking NIL deal with And One, the streetball apparel company, making history as the youngest endorser in sports. This deal, reportedly worth 6 figures, highlighted the shifting landscape where social media influencers could monetize fame.
My boy got the first ever NIL deal.
Really,
I ain't know that.
Pops was like the mind behind that. I ain't really know, I a lot of stuff I was doing, I didn't know why I was doing it, but I was just doing it. He just tell me like it's gonna make sense.
When Williams arrived at San Ysidro High School in 2019, expectations were astronomical, but even the most optimistic projections couldn't have predicted the statistical devastation he would unleash. As a freshman, he averaged an otherworldly 29.9 points, 6.7 rebounds, 4.9 assists, and 1.6 steals per game, leading San Ysidro to
35
a
assists
San
and
Diego
2
Section
steals?
Division III championship. But it was one particular performance that would etch his name into California high school basketball folklore forever. On December 13, 2019, against Montgomery High School, Williams erupted for an astronomical 77 points, including 9 3-pointers in a 116-52 victory, shattering San Diego County's single-game scoring mark previously held at 71 points. The performance wasn't just statistically remarkable, it was a cultural phenomenon that sent shockwaves through the basketball community and cemented his status as a generational talent. The accolades poured in like a torrential downpour. Max Prep's National Freshman of the Year, CIF San Diego Section Player of the Year, and a spot on the All-State First Team. Recruiting services pegged him as the #1 prospect in the 2023 class, with offers flooding in from blue blood programs like Kansas, Duke, and North Carolina. But Williams' ascension transcended mere basketball statistics. His social media presence became a masterclass in modern athlete branding, with Overtime, a sports media company, producing a YouTube reality series documenting his life, further amplifying his already stratospheric profile. The teenager who once felt uncomfortable in
So Mikey was really the first to do a lot of this social media stuff that we see with all the athletes now. Like, you gotta have a brand, you gotta be on social media. Mikey was the
front of
first one to
cameras
really
and
take that and
transformed
like
into
elevate
a
with it.
content creation machine, understanding intuitively how to leverage his athleticism into cultural relevance.
Like
Yeah.
that's sophomore year.
That was my freshman year, I
Freshman
think.
year? Okay, freshman year.
Yeah.
To be that young with that many followers, like, was it hard for you?
Yeah, cause I ain't know what to do.
The NIL era's dawn found Williams perfectly positioned to capitalize on the seismic shift in amateur athletics. In October 2021, at age 17, he signed a multi-year endorsement deal with Puma, one of the first high school athletes to do so, launching signature apparel and sneakers. His NIL valuation reached an estimated $3.6 million, including NFT collections,
in high
appearances
school.
in NBA 2K22 commercials, and partnerships with brands like Lace Clips and Cash App. Celebrity endorsements followed the money. LeBron James praised his game, Kevin Durant called him a must-watch, and Drake featured him in music videos and social posts. The teenager who had started with viral dunks in 7th grade was now rubbing shoulders with the entertainment elite, living a lifestyle that most professional athletes could only dream of achieving. The college recruitment process became a coronation rather than a competition. Williams committed to Memphis in November 2022 to play under Penny Hardaway, drawn by the program's NBA pipeline and Hardaway's legendary status. At his peak, scouts projected him as a top 5 NBA draft pick, viewing him as a dynamic scoring guard with star potential. But as Williams' star continued its seemingly inexorable rise, the pressures and temptations that accompany premature fame began to exert their corrosive influence. The teenager who had conquered social media and dominated high school basketball was about to discover that success built on such unstable foundations could crumble with devastating swiftness. The first cracks in the facade appeared not on the basketball court, but in the spaces between games, in the moments when the cameras weren't rolling and the crowds weren't cheering. Williams later reflected that there had been situations before the main incident that could have been not so good, admitting he had slipped up a few times just being young.
I don't think it's the situation that happened. I think it was situations that I've been in before that could have been like, you know, not so good. Cause what happened is just like, God sat me down, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was never convicted of doing anything.
Right. The warning signs were there for those willing to see them. Reports from scouts highlighting pre-arrest red flags, such as inconsistent effort and entourage influences, suggesting that the shooting incident would be symptomatic of broader issues rather than an isolated event. Then came March 27, 2023, a date that would forever divide Mikey Williams' life into before and after. At his $1.2 million home in Jamul, east of San Diego, what should have been a quiet Tuesday night transformed into a nightmare that would derail one of basketball's most promising careers and serve as a stark reminder of how quickly success can transform into scandal. At approximately midnight, an argument erupted with a group of uninvited visitors who had arrived at Williams' property. According to reports, tensions escalated rapidly, and as the group attempted to leave in a Tesla Model 3 containing 5 passengers, shots were fired, striking the vehicle multiple times but miraculously causing no injuries. The teenager who had spent years cultivating an image of controlled athleticism and social media savvy had allegedly lost control in the most spectacular and consequential way possible. The incident would mark the beginning of a legal odyssey that would consume the next year and a half of his life, transforming him from basketball prodigy to cautionary tale overnight. The legal nightmare and career devastation. The aftermath of that fateful March night would unfold with the methodical precision of a legal thriller, each development more damaging than the last to Williams's carefully constructed public
What else
image.
happened? So
On
some people
April
showed up to
13th,
his crib. It sounded like they was trespassing or something. Like they just showed up to his crib uninvited. They got into an argument like, bro, you got to leave the crib. So I don't blame him for firing that.
2023,
You know?
Williams was arrested by San Diego County Sheriff's deputies,
But what else happened?
facing an initial barrage of 6 felony charges that carried the potential to effectively end his basketball career before it had truly begun. The initial charges painted a devastating picture. 3 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, 1 count of making criminal threats with a firearm, and 2 counts of firing at an occupied motor vehicle. Each assault charge alone carried a potential sentence of 9 years, meaning Williams faced the very real possibility of spending the prime years of his athletic career behind bars rather than on basketball courts. The basketball world reacted with a mixture of shock, disappointment, and disbelief. Social media erupted with posts from major outlets like at Bleacher Report garnering over 32,000 likes, reflecting collective surprise as fans grappled with the fall of someone they had watched grow up in the public eye. Commentators began drawing parallels to NBA star Ja Morant's gun-related suspension, dubbing it the Ja Morant effect, and worrying about a pattern of off-court troubles for young black athletes in
You
basketball.
can't blame Ja
Memphis coach Penny
for
Hardaway,
Mikey.
who had recruited
That's
Williams
crazy.
aggressively, issued a neutral statement.
We knew who Mikey
"We are
was
aware
before
of the
Ja.
situation and are gathering more information," while privately grappling with the reality that his prized recruit might never set foot on campus. The legal proceedings moved with agonizing deliberation, each hearing adding new layers of complexity to an already Byzantine case. Williams pleaded not guilty to the initial charges, but prosecutors weren't finished building their case. In October 2023, during a preliminary hearing that would prove pivotal to his future, additional evidence emerged that would only deepen his legal jeopardy. Judge Sherry M. Thompson Taylor ruled there was sufficient evidence for the case to proceed to trial, and prosecutors seized the opportunity to add 3 more felony charges, bringing the total to 9. The new charges included...
I ain't gonna lie. When you gotta go to trial, that's different, because now if you get found guilty in trial, they gonna give you all them years, or they gonna try to give you most of them, you know, because they want you to plead out and just take some before you get to trial. So that's crazy.
Additional counts
I didn't know
of
his case
making
went to
criminal
trial.
threats and grand theft auto related to the incident, expanding Williams' potential exposure to over 30 years in prison if convicted on all counts.
30.
They say they didn't see Williams
To get a 30 ball is crazy.
San Diego County Sheriff's Department says people were arguing about
But
deaths
it sounded like he didn't
inside
hurt
the house
nobody.
where Williams lived. No one was hurt in the shooting. Williams
Yeah.
is out of custody on $50,000 bail.
The weight of the legal proceedings began to take its toll, not just on Williams, but on his family and support system. In interviews, he would later describe the surreal experience of sitting in courtrooms watching lawyers debate his future while feeling powerless to influence the outcome.
Cause I feel like the people around me were more like scared. Like my pops will call me and he'll be, you feel me, stretching whoop to whoop, cause he done been through it, you feel me? He done had to go through the same thing, and it's like, he don't want you, like, obviously he don't want me to go through it.
Meanwhile, the commercial consequences of his legal troubles began mounting with ruthless efficiency. Puma, which had signed Williams to that groundbreaking, a multi-year footwear and apparel endorsement deal, severed ties with the embattled athlete, citing the pending legal issues as grounds for contract termination. Lace clips,
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Companies only do that. Like, if them shoes was selling out like crazy, they would not be cutting ties. But them shoes must not have been. But I don't know. I'm not on the West Coast. But at least where I am, like, we don't be seeing the Mikey Williams, so that's probably why they cut
sports
ties.
technology company,
You know, they just use this as an excuse to get up out of there.
with CEO Jonathan Nussbaum stating bluntly that Williams was not someone we will associate with our brand. The financial devastation was swift and comprehensive. Williams' NIL valuation, which had peaked at an estimated $3.6 million, plummeted as brands distanced themselves from the controversy. The teenager, who had been positioned to become one of the wealthiest amateur athletes in history, suddenly found himself stripped of the commercial partnerships that had defined his public persona. At Memphis, the situation grew increasingly untenable. Williams was indefinitely suspended from all team activities upon his arrest, effectively forcing him to redshirt his freshman season without ever playing a meaningful minute of college basketball. The athletic department, mindful of the university's reputation and NCAA compliance requirements, maintained a careful distance from their once prized recruit.
Like, at first, it was like, I was in the gym every day, and then once I started going through what I was going through, like at Memphis, like the AD was tripping on me. He wouldn't let me in. I went back home, and I was like, man, it was about August or something. I just went back to the crib, and I was like, I started like going to the gym maybe twice a week, because that wasn't the main thing on my mind. It just one day it hit.
The isolation was perhaps the most difficult aspect of Williams' ordeal. The teenager who had thrived on the energy of packed gymnasiums and the validation of social media engagement found himself cut off from the very activities that had defined his identity. Basketball, which had been...
Yeah, that gotta be rough. When you've been hooping your whole life, like, he probably never took, I ain't gonna say he never took a week, 2 weeks off, but, you know, that's his main thing. So now to have that stripped away from you, you just gotta focus on the legal. That's
his
tough.
passion and his
you know,
pathway
mentally,
to
you
success
probably in a
became
whole
a painful
other
reminder of everything
that's
he
crazy.
stood to lose. The psychological toll was evident in his increasingly rare public appearances and social media posts. Williams later admitted that he had deactivated his Instagram account multiple times for months at a stretch, overwhelmed by the combination of legal stress and public scrutiny. The confident teenager who had once commanded millions of followers now struggled with the most basic aspects of public life.
I would have have, but actually Kennedy, he told us not to deactivate our Instagrams, all that. Yeah, because I don't be liking to be on there for real.
You be deactivating yours?
Yeah, I didn't deactivate them a few times for like months.
As the legal proceedings dragged on through the summer and fall of 2023, Williams found himself in a form of professional limbo that few athletes ever experience. Too young to turn professional overseas, barred from college basketball.
I was about to say, why don't he
and
just go?
facing
I was just about to say, why don't he go overseas? Like, low key, I'd just leave the U.S., go give me a bag and, France or the UK or even some of them leagues in, like the Caribbean or something like that. Give me
he
a
watched
bag.
helplessly as peers like Jared McCain and Rob Dillingham continued their basketball journeys, while his own remained suspended in legal uncertainty. The November 30th, 2023 plea hearing would prove to be the turning point in Williams' legal saga, though the path to that moment had been fraught with agonizing uncertainty and the very real possibility that his basketball career might be over before it had truly begun. The arduous journey back. The November 30th, 2023 plea hearing represented both an ending and a beginning for Mikey Williams, the conclusion of his most perilous legal chapter and the tentative first step toward reclaiming a basketball career that had seemed lost forever. Williams reached a plea agreement with prosecutors, pleading guilty to a single felony count of making criminal threats under California Penal Code Section 422, with the remaining 8 felony gun-related charges dismissed as part of the deal. The terms of the plea agreement...
Man... See, why they even play with him like that? They know they ain't had no evidence for them other charges, but they just gonna throw them all at you, see if you fold. But, he stood tall. It sounded like he had a good lawyer, and he was able to plead out to one of the lesser charges. So shout out to Mikey for that. Let me get the round of applause. Shout out to that boy for that.
Reflected both the seriousness of the original charges and the possibility of redemption that still existed for the young athlete. Williams was required to complete anger management courses, cognitive behavioral therapy, gun safety classes, and 80 hours of community service, with the understanding that successful completion would result in the felony being reduced to a misdemeanor at sentencing.
Faith, God, I'm stuck in a tough position, so
that's fire.
Get myself
Yeah,
out
he had a great lawyer.
My lawyer is
They say the felony could turn to a misdemeanor.
Really, I just had to stay down because it didn't really hit me at first. You feel me? It hit me like a little minute into my little situation. It hit me, and then you know what I'm saying? Like that's when God really was tapping on my shoulder. Like you feel me?
The basketball community's reaction to the plea deal was overwhelmingly positive, with many viewing it as a second chance for a talented young man who had made a serious mistake. Social media erupted with celebratory posts, including Jam John's
we love a
viral
redemption
3-1
story.
deficit post.
I'm gonna be rooting for
that
Mikey after this.
17,000 likes, framing
I gotta
Williams'
tap into
legal
his
resolution
basketball,
as a comeback
to his
story
college
rather
career.
than just the end of a nightmare.
Right
Williams
now, I ain't
threw
been watching.
himself
Let me know if
into
he's been going
fulfilling
crazy in
the
college
terms
in the
of his
comments.
plea
Let me know.
agreement with characteristic intensity. By the time of his August 12, 2024 sentencing, he had not only completed all required programs, but had exceeded the community service requirement, volunteering extensively with youth programs and demonstrating genuine commitment to personal growth. Judge Thompson Taylor, presiding over the sentencing hearing via virtual court from Florida, officially reduced the felony charge to a misdemeanor and sentenced Williams to 1 year of summary probation. The sentence included a 10-year restriction on possessing firearms, but crucially, no jail time, an outcome that finally allowed Williams to begin rebuilding his basketball career. However, the landscape Williams returned to was vastly different from the one he had left. In January 2024, even before his legal resolution was complete, Williams had entered the transfer portal from Memphis, citing the program's failure to prioritize his return amid the ongoing legal uncertainties.
I couldn't get into Memphis, so I had to transfer anyways. But I felt like the coach, really, Coach Dawkins, played a big part in that. It's in the Big 12, you feel me? So the conference played a big part in that.
Williams' commitment to the University of Central Florida, UCF, in March 2024 marked his return to college basketball, but it came with dramatically reduced expectations and circumstances. Coach Johnny Dawkins, who had emphasized second chances during the recruitment process, welcomed Williams to a program in the competitive Big 12 Conference. The 2024-25 season at UCF provided Williams with his first taste of college basketball, but the statistics told a humbling story of a player working to rebuild both his skills and his reputation. In 18 games with 5 starts, Williams averaged 5.1 points, 1.9 rebounds, and 0.7 assists in 14 minutes per game, shooting 37.1% from the field. While these numbers were modest compared to his high school dominance, they represented something far more valuable, proof that his basketball career could continue.
For sure, I'm grateful, like it's stuff like this. Like I have a game where I play 5 minutes 7 minutes. I know I should be playing more. You feel me? It'd be tough, it'd be challenging. End of the day though, I'm like, bro, I'm out here playing. Like it'll make you shed a tear. Like that's the biggest blessing.
Yeah, for
feel
real.
me?
You could have
The
been locked up.
psychological and emotional journey
That boy is
of
facing
Williams'
real
comeback
time.
proved as challenging as the legal and basketball-related obstacles. In interviews, he spoke candidly about the humbling experience of going from projected lottery pick to role player and the patience required to rebuild a career that had seemed destined for immediate NBA stardom.
Like, man, so it definitely affected me. Like, now it's like, I don't take this for granted. Days be frustrating, bro. Like, for sure. Even when people have whatever they had to say about me right now, like, I don't care.
Despite showing flashes of his former brilliance, including season highs of 14 points against Iowa State and Oklahoma State, Williams struggled with consistency and the adjustment to college-level competition after an extended layoff. Injuries also limited his availability as he missed 19 games during the season, further complicating his attempts to regain basketball rhythm. By March 2025, Williams had entered the transfer portal once again, seeking a fresh start and greater opportunity to showcase his abilities. His commitment to Sacramento State in April 2025 represented yet another chapter in his ongoing redemption story. The Sacramento State program, under the guidance of head coach Mike Bibby, a former NBA All-Star.
Oh,
and
he playing with
2008
Mike Bibby now? That's
gold
hard.
medalist, along with advisor
That's hard.
Shaquille O'Neal serving as president of basketball operations, offered Williams something that had been elusive since his legal troubles began: a genuine opportunity for redemption and development in an environment focused on his basketball future rather than his troubled past.
My goals, man, right now, man, I just want to get to the NBA. You know, I personally go to side for that, but the main goal, I just want to get to the NBA, bro. Like, I've worked my whole life for it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like what I've been
That's
through
real.
kind of fuels me.
Yeah, I
As of
hope Mikey
September
make it.
2025, Williams stands at a crossroads that would have seemed unimaginable during the height of his high school fame. Now 21 years old and preparing for what could be a pivotal sophomore season at Sacramento State, he faces the challenge of proving that the player who once seemed destined for NBA stardom can still achieve those dreams despite taking a far more circuitous route. The young man who now speaks with hard-earned wisdom about faith,
word,
patience, and
circuitous.
personal growth represents a far
nah,
different
I'm
figure
finna tap
than the
in with
social
Mikey.
media sensation who dominated
I hope he
high
go
school
crazy this
basketball
season.
just a few years ago. His story serves as both cautionary tale and inspiration, a reminder of how quickly success can evaporate, but also of the possibility for
sure.
redemption when someone is willing to do the difficult work of rebuilding from the ground.
Man, that's crazy. That Mikey Williams story is crazy. I always wanted to know what happened to him because I remember seeing his highlights for a long time. Then the next thing, you know, I ain't seen nothing for a minute. Then the next thing I seen was the, you know, the gun case and all that. So I'm happy he got that resolved. And he back hooping, so we definitely gonna watch his games this season. Y'all might see me react to it on his channel. If y'all like this type of content and you watch to the end, comment down below second chance. And we out of here. Peace. Appreciate y'all.